Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about the fourth chapter of our textbook, the research methods in psychology. And we are going to talk about three topics mainly. The first one is understanding psychological measurement, and third is reliability and validity of measurement. And third, the last is practical strategies for psychological measurement. And the first one, the definition in our textbook of measurement is assigning scores to represent characteristics of individuals. For example, when you step on a scale, you are going to measure your weight. And in psychology, the psychological measurement, we call it psychometrics. And for the variables, we are going to have two types. The first, you can observe it directly. That is called observable variables, such as your age, your weight, and your height. And third, in psychology, we call it psychological constructs because you can observe the variable directly. For example, your personality, your emotions, and your attitudes, they should be observed. They can be observed. Okay, and now we're going to the two types of definition. The first is conceptual definition, which is the theoretical meaning. You can find it in a dictionary. And the third we will talk more is operational definition. There are three types. One is self-report, such as you are going to report your own feelings and thoughts during the experiments. And second is physiological measurement, such as your heart rate, your brain activities. And the last is behavioral measurement. It is observed actions of participants in the lab or natural settings. And under the operational definition, when researchers use multiple operational definition for any given variable or construct, that is called converging operation, such as when researchers are measuring stress level among participants, they can use self-report or cortisol or life events to reflect the stress levels of each one. Okay, now we are coming to the four levels of measurement, also called four scales of measurement. The first is nominal level, that is only one for the categorical variables. And it means assigning scores into different categories, such as gender, your major. We will give you more examples in the following PowerPoint slides. Okay, and the second is ordinal level. That is rank order like first, second, and third grade. And next is interval level. That is equal spacing without a true zero, such as your IQ scores and the Fahrenheit scale for temperature. And the last is ratio level, that is equal spacing with a true zero, such as Kelvin scale for temperature, the amount of money, and your height. More examples, the nominal level that includes the types of pets you owned, dogs, cats, birds, or fish, and your favorite color. The and the ordinal levels includes the class ranking, Yelp star ratings, satisfaction survey from very dissatisfied to very satisfied. The interval level includes temperature, IQ scores, year of birth, and the no to zero means the zero doesn't mean the absence of temperature. And the ratio levels such as annual income in dollars, number of hours studied per week, weight in kilograms, and why we are going to use the Stevens for levels of measurement. First, they emphasize the generality of the concept of measurement. Second, the levels of measurement can serve as a rough guide to the statistical procedures that can be used with the data and the conclusion that can be drawn from them. And I found a very good table from our textbook, which vividly illustrates the four types measurement difference. And next, we are going to talk about the second topic, that is reliability and validity of measurement. Reliability refers to the consistency of a measure. Scores should be stable and replicable. The first is test retest reliability. It means stability over time, such as the IQ scores. The IQ score today should be identical as the next month. And second is the internal consistency. It means consistency across items. People's responses to different items should be correlated with each other. And the last is inter-rater reliability. It means agreement among observers, such as when researchers are measuring aggression, the ratings among different observers should be correlated with each other. And now we are going to test our understanding of the three reliabilities. First, a researcher gives a group of students a new personality test today and then administer the same test again 2 weeks later. The students' scores are almost identical at both times. That means test, retest, reliability, because it means like stability over time. And second scenario, a self-esteem questionnaire contains 10 items. Students who agree with the item agree, I feel I have good qualities are also very likely to agree with I feel that I'm a person of worth. That means consistency across different items. So that is internal consistency. Okay, next we will talk about four types of validities. According to our book, the definition of validity is the extent to which scores represent the intended variables. Different from the reliabilities, a measure can be consistent but not valid. Okay. And the first one is face validity. A measurement method appears on its face to measure the construct of interest. For example, a self-esteem questionnaire asking about self-worth. And the weakness for this validity is it relies on intuition. And second is content validity. A measure covers all aspects of the construct of interest. For example, the test anxiety equals to nervous feelings plus negative thoughts. Okay. And the third is criterion validity. Scores correlated with expected in external variables. Under this validity, there are concurrent validity measured at the same time and predictive validity measured in future. And the example is tax anxiety negatively should be correlated with exam grades. And the last one is discriminant validity. Measure not correlated with the unrelated constructs, such as the self-esteem should not be correlated with your mood. Stable, because the self-esteem is a stable and your mood is temporarily. You changes the mood all the time. And the weakness for these validities, low correlation shows distinctiveness. And to test our understandings, first, a new self-esteem survey includes questions such as that I feel that I'm a person of worth and I have good qualities. At first glance, the test appears to measure self-esteem, that is face validity, because it's on service. And second scenario, a new test of risk taking is administered and participants' scores are positively correlated with the number of speeding tickets they have received. That is criterion validity, because measure not correlated with the unrelated constructs. Now we are coming to our last topic, the practical strategies for psychological measurement. The first step is conceptual defining a context you are studying. A conceptual definition, as we talked about before, explains what a construct means in theory. It describes the behaviors, thoughts, and processes that make up the construct and how it relates to other variables. It provides a foundation for designing valid measures. It prevents confusion or vague definitions. It ensures consistency across different researchers, and thus it helps identify what not to measure. For example, we if we wanted to study memory and the first researcher are interested in episodic memory, it will measure record of the past personal events. If the other researchers are interested in working memory, then he or she may measure holding information while solving a problem. Second step is operational defining a construct. For the definition is define variables in terms of how they are measured in your own study. It makes abstract concepts observable. When we are measuring stress, we may measure it through perceived stress scales, that is, using a survey. And if we are using the biological, we will measure stress through cortisol in saliva. And when we are measuring stress in behaviorally, we will measure the number of recent stressful life events. And third step, using existing measures. The advantage of this is it saves time and effort because the previous people already tested for its reliability and validity. And we can use our conducting resource compared to the prior research results, such as the 10-item personality inventory. Next, the fourth step is creating a new measure. When there are no suitable existing measure or to test, you wanted to test the validity. The guidelines for creating a new measure is first keep it simple, like clear instructions, practical items, etc. Next, use multiple items. Third, pilot test with participants for clarity and depth. For example, the Stroop task adapted for social anxiety research. Okay, and the next, standardized testing. Like we usually quiet, distraction-free, and same instructions, which will minimize participant reactivity, anonymity, and neutral titles. Money questionnaire vs. Are you financially responsible? Blind administrators. And the threats are social desirability, demand characteristics, and research acceptations. Okay, last, evaluating the measure. First we evaluate the reliability, such as test retest, internal consistency, and next, validity. Criterion validity, correlation with expected variables, and evidence from experimental manipulations. If issues arise, we need to re-examine definition or measure or procedure. Okay, to wrap it up, first we are talking about two definitions. One is conceptual, which is theoretical meaning of a construct, and the third is operational definition. That is specified how the construct would be measured. When we are using multiple definition, we call it converging operation. It will strengthen the research. And next, four levels of measurement. One is nominal. It is measuring categories, and there's no order among the different. Next is ordinal level, that is talking about rank order, but there's unequal intervals. And next is interval level, that is equal intervals but without a true zero. And thus this ratio level that is equal intervals with a true zero. And four types of reliability. Reliability means consistency of measurement. First one is test retest. It means stability across time. Second is internal consistency. It means consistency across items. Third, inter-rater reliability. It means agreement among observers. And next is four types of validity. Validity means accuracy of measurement. First is face validity. It means appears to measure the construct. Second is content validity. It means fully covers the construct. Third is criterion validity. It correlates with expected outcomes. And the last is discriminant validity. It means not correlated with the unrelated construct. And hopefully my slides would help you learn about the fourth chapter. Thank you for watching.